Hi, I'm Laura, and at age 35 I was diagnosed with stage 2, grade 3 triple positive breast cancer. Life before my diagnosis was really busy. I worked quite a lot, quite a very stressful job. Obviously we had lockdown and everything like that, so it was kind of getting back into social activities. Yeah, it was just a really busy time. I think looking back on it now, I was going through the motions a lot of the time. The day-to-day activities, I guess, like what a lot of people do. Going out with my mates, socialising, going to festivals, holidays, all of those sorts of things. The regular things that people do, I guess, as a young adult.
When did everything change?
The day I got diagnosed. Like, literally, that your whole world just freezes in that moment. It stops. Yeah, it's like it slows down, and then everything's really hyper focused at the same time, but also blurry at the same time. I know that none of that makes sense, but that's how it felt. And then I felt very exposed. Like, walking down the street, it was like everyone knew this secret, and I did see it as a secret when I first got diagnosed. I didn't really tell anyone, especially because I couldn't say that I had cancer. I couldn't use the word cancer without crying for probably a good 3 months. But yeah, my whole life changed. There'd been a change in my body for quite a while. I felt very tired and fatigued, but what we're very good at doing is making an excuse for why we're feeling certain ways. So I was tired and fatigued because I was working so many hours, is the reasons I was given to me, and I was going to the doctor saying I didn't feel myself, I didn't feel right. I'd unfortunately had a miscarriage in the lockdown, which had quite a lot of complications and surgeries. So kind of since then, I didn't 100% feel myself, but I've always been very good at self-checking. And I'd previously had biopsies done on my breasts because I'd found lumps. And because I was trying to get pregnant at the same time, when I found the lump probably at the end of June 2022, I wasn't sure whether it was to do with ovulation and other things. So I tracked it along with my period tracker at the same time, and was tracking to see if there was any difference. And you know, a month went by and there was no difference. So I just finished working at my other school. And the first week of the holidays, I went to the doctors and told my doctor I'd found a lump. And he said, look, you know your body better than anyone, I'm going to refer you. So I had the quick referral, so I was seen in like 2 weeks. And then within 2 weeks after that, I was called into the hospital and told that I have cancer. I was by myself in the appointment with the doctor and the nurse, and the first question you ask is, am I going to die? And you think, that's it, this is how I'm going to die. And I asked that question. That was the first question I asked, and I didn't get the response that I wanted. I now know they're not allowed to, because they have to do further investigations into the cancer because they've only got a small section from the biopsy. But I said, am I going to die? And they said, well, we hope you won't. Really, you want them to say, no, you'll be fine. But they can't say that. So, no, we hope you won't. And then, so I was looking, I tried to look positive all the time. And I then was thinking, right, okay, so they hope so that I won't die, so I won't die. That's the decision that I'd made in my head. Okay, they hope I won't, so I hope I won't. And then the next one went a bit vain, I expect, which was about my hair. Will I lose my hair? And they said, the drugs that you are on, probably, but there's ways that we can try and save it. And then, because your mind is racing, it goes to like the worst thing first, and then you kind of come back to reality and think about things that don't really matter at all. And then I then thought, oh, what about kids? What's that going to do now, like in terms of being able to have children? And they said that that's something that they would need to talk in more detail with me about once my husband had arrived to the hospital, which seemed like ages for him to arrive. But yeah, I was by myself that day. So the treatment, because of the type of breast cancer that I had, they needed to tackle it quite aggressively because it was aggressively growing, and it's quite an aggressive breast cancer. So because I wanted children, because I don't have children, and I want children, I had to do quick fire fertility preservation. So I had 2 weeks to do the IVF. I had to find somewhere first, then 2 weeks to do the IVF with the egg collection. So that happened in September. So I was diagnosed in August. That happened in September. Then I had surgery at the beginning of October called a lumpectomy, in which they take a section out that has the cancer, and they also take your sentinel lymph nodes. And then after that, I had 6 rounds of chemotherapy. The first 2 rounds of chemotherapy the first one was okay. I tolerated it well. The second one, I ended up in hospital. So they changed the regime for the 3rd, 4th, 5th and 6th, which was a stronger chemotherapy regime. Then I had radiotherapy, 10 sessions of radiotherapy, and 18 cycles of a drug called Herceptin, which was every 3 weeks injected into my leg for the HER2 receptor. I also have Zoladex once a month to shut down my ovaries, to try and protect them, but also to stop them from producing as much estrogen, as that kind of triggers my cancer. And I'm now on 6 tablets a day of a drug called neratinib for 1 year. This drug breaks through the blood-brain barrier to target any rogue cells that might have gone into my brain, because I didn't know that your brain is a bit of a sanctuary, and chemotherapy drugs and Herceptin doesn't kind of infiltrate your brain and kill off those cells, whereas this drug that I'm on will do that, and hopefully stop reoccurrence to the brain, which is common in my type of cancer. Mentally, I think normally I'm quite a strong, positive, resilient type of person, but yeah, it was really tough mentally. Especially I'm not very good with pain, and everyone I think in the world feels grumpy when they've got pain, but this is severe all over body pain. So yeah, that kind of, they feed one another really. Like when you're not feeling right in your body, you don't feel right mentally. But everyone just thinks that cancer is bald people throwing up, and that's what I thought anyway. But I had the cold cap and it worked. It saved most of my hair. So I didn't go bald. Yes, I did throw up, but there were more issues to do with body pain, mouth ulcers and sores in your mouth, toileting issues. So they kind of kept you inside as well. So that wasn't particularly nice. I love working, and being at home all the time is really boring. And not being around people all the time is really boring, can make you feel low. But you just have to try and keep as positive as possible, and use the people around you, your support network. I have amazing colleagues, amazing friends, amazing family. So I'm lucky in that sense. So that helped me through quite a lot. Yeah, so I've rung the bell 2 times because I'm still technically in active treatment. So I rang the bell after chemo. That was a big deal because of just how unwell it makes you feel. The hardest thing I've ever done in my life, I think I will ever do. So ringing that bell was really emotional. And yeah, that bell meant the most, ringing that bell. I also rang the bell after radiotherapy. There was a bell there. Why not ring it? I know compared to chemotherapy, that was a breeze, but I know for people that haven't had chemotherapy and only have radiotherapy, it's not a breeze. But yeah, rang the bell then. I had the chance to ring the bell after finishing Herceptin, but instead we choreographed a little dance with the nurses. We did that instead, a celebration dance. And yeah, I don't think I'll be able to ring any other bells when I finish this other drug that I'm on. It'll just be probably a party. An average day for me now, currently where I am in my treatment, I'm managing really well on this drug at the moment. A lot of people don't. A lot of people can't tolerate it, but I'm managing really well. I work full time as a teacher, so yeah, day to day, Monday to Friday, I'm working. At the weekends, catching up with friends, going up to London, the usual things. Back to how it was before I was diagnosed. But there was a period of time in the middle where that wasn't happening, and I thought it would never happen again. I thought I'd never feel okay again. And at one point I remember asking someone, I went to an event called Cancer in Common, and I asked someone, like, do you always think about cancer constantly? Because I do, and I was still having my chemotherapy then. And they were like, no, and I was like, oh, wow, I couldn't imagine not having moments in time during the school day not thinking about cancer. But you know, I go through the day and I don't really think about it at all, apart from when I have to take my medicine or if I feel sick. Sometimes I do, but yeah, it feels pretty normal, and I like normal. Yeah, if I could go back and speak to me when I was diagnosed, I would tell me it's not my fault. I was searching, doing so much research. I research everything. Was it my fault that I got cancer? Was looking for things and I've made some positive changes, but I was getting so obsessed over certain things and not doing certain things and not it being in certain places. So yeah, I'd tell Laura, it's not your fault you got cancer. Listen to your Macmillan nurse. It's just bad luck. And I would say you're not always going to feel like this. You're not always going to feel this way, and you will feel happy again. You have to deal with the diagnosis in a way that's comfortable for you. For me, what was comfortable was finding out as much as possible from the correct sources. Don't just go on random websites. If you are going to research, and also reaching out to people. It's very isolating being a young person with cancer and everyone on the chemo ward reminding you of that every time you go, oh, you're young. So reaching out to people. I had a friend who's unfortunately passed away now, but he had a different type of cancer to me, and he said that social media really helped him. I'd been off social media for a couple of years at that point, and I thought, do you know what? I'm going to go back on and I'm just going to say it how it is. Because there was a couple of weird moments when I was recovering from my surgery. I bumped into my friend's husband. Obviously I hadn't seen him or spoke to him about cancer, but he was acting really weird around me, like, oh, you can walk. Yes, of course I can walk. But people were being a bit weird, and it was like the elephant in the room. So, I decided what was best for me was to put it out there, reach out to people, and, find other people that are the same or in a similar position. That would work for me. For other people, perhaps it wouldn't, but take the time to feel better. Take that time that you need to recover. I was really lucky with my work. They allowed me that time that I needed. I was desperate to get back, but take your time, navigate it the way that feels comfortable for you. Don't listen to all the people that say things like sugar feeds cancer, all food feeds cancer if you've got it in your body. But stick to your guns. You will know what you know yourself best. What am I looking forward to now? Just a bit of normalcy, just normality, and seeing where the future's gonna take me. I mean, I think beforehand I think I said it already, I was going through the motions, but I'm really grateful. I'm really grateful just to be alive, and just want to experience things. I just want to have as much fun as possible and continue to have great friendships and just see where life takes me, and hopefully it's till I'm quite old. That's the hope.